Stress. Stress doesn't always look the way we imagine it. It doesn't have to be violent, loud, or visible. It often appears quietly in subtle changes in behavior, in unexplainable fatigue, in dreams that are no longer peaceful. A person can function normally, go to work, talk to others, fulfill their duties, and at the same time remain in a state of tension for a long time without even being aware of it. What is stressful is not always perceived as stress. Situations that require constant vigilance, responsibility, adaptation may not trigger panic, yet they gradually burden the body. The body reacts before the conscious mind does. Sleep changes, concentration, patience, relationships with people. Not because someone is failing to cope, but because the stress had no conclusion. Stress is often spoken of as something purely negative. Meanwhile, positive stress also exists, the kind that motivates, gives energy, allows us to push our own limits. The problem arises when both negative and positive stress last too long. The body doesn't distinguish them by labels. For the body, only one thing matters, whether the tension has an end. Healthy people can cope with stress, but that doesn't mean they can always end it. The ability to regulate isn't a magical skill that can be turned on at any moment. It requires conditions, a sense of safety, rest, predictability, real influence over what is happening. When those conditions are lacking, the stress doesn't disappear. It becomes entrenched. And here an important thought emerges. The lack of an end to stress is not a person's failure. It is often simply a consequence of the reality in which they live. And yet, despite all of this, there is something constructive in this topic. The human body has a tremendous capacity to return to balance. Even after a long period of tension, it can regenerate as long as the space for it appears. Sometimes a small change is enough, a moment of silence, sleep, a conversation, a sense of being seen. Sometimes more is needed, but that capacity does not disappear. Stress does not have to define a person. It is a reaction, not a verdict. If there is one thing worth remembering, it's that ending stress doesn't always start with coping, but with creating the conditions in which the body and mind can finally hear a simple signal. It is safe now. And when that signal appears, even after a long time, the body knows what to do.